Guys, this is super important and this will affect margins in a very big way. And this has to do with the tax increase and also the tax subsidy. Now, first, the very good news is the fact that there are so many ES8 orders that if you buy a car right now, you have to wait until July or August of next year. There is simply super strong demand and people are taking full advantage of the fact that NIO is going to subsidize for the purchase tax increase that's going to happen at the end of this year. So customers can lock in their ES8 orders with full confidence, knowing that they don't have to pay extra taxes, which is also very nice. And by the way, NIO's not the only one doing this. Li Auto and other guys are also doing this so that they don't lose orders. And this is, everybody's doing it except like Xiaomi and Tesla and those guys. Now, obviously, this is going to affect margins and you want NIO to absolutely deliver as many as they can in the 2025 year. And every car that goes and delivers in the 2026 year, well, the margins will be lower, right? So exactly how much lower? How much can we expect for the margins to drop? We're going to answer that in this video. So first we have to know about what is the tax policy change. Now, NIO has a huge advantage in the fact that if you choose to rent the battery and instead of buying the battery, then your invoice price is actually just a car without the battery. So you're paying much less taxes, which is just a huge benefit. And that's why a lot of people are choosing BAS battery as a service, renting the battery instead of buying the battery. And that will significantly reduce their taxes. So what does the tax policy look like? So this is the official government info. So you have to understand that right now the tax policy is basically if the purchase tax is 30,000 RMB and below, you don't have to pay taxes, and that is equivalent to basically a price of 339,000 for a vehicle, for a car. So for example, the NIO ES6 is cleverly priced at that price point. Basically, with that car, if you buy it right now, in this year, you're not going to have to pay taxes on it. But then next year, instead of just absolutely deducting 30,000, the tax deduction is half. And that deducted amount cannot be more than 15,000 RMB. And it sounds kind of complicated, but the best way to calculate the tax is basically whatever the purchase price of the car is divided by 11.3, and then that's how much the tax is. So here you can see if a car costs 200,000 RMB, this year you pay 0 RMB taxes on it, but then next year you have to pay 8,849. All right, and then likewise, you basically you have to pay taxes. All right, you have to pay taxes. And then for the NIO ES8, if we take that into consideration, this car with BAS is around 338,800, and that is the starting price without the battery of the brand new ES8. And then if you calculate how much taxes you got to pay, that's 29,982. So basically, if you buy that car this year, you pay 0 in taxes. And this is, of course, without any options. But then next year, in 2026, you have to pay 15,000 RMB in taxes. So, and this is subsidized by NIO, basically. And of course, NIO isn't going to just straight up pay for this. And NIO's very clever that they're going to reduce the car price so that the end amount that you have to pay in taxes is the same. So, but that does mean that they have to suffer this kind of a 15,000 RMB sort of revenue decrease per car almost. And that's equivalent to around almost 2,000 US dollars per car. If that sounds too complicated, well, it just means that NIO will fork out about 2,100 in tax subsidy equivalent for every car, or every car for the ES8 sold, every ES8 sold will have 2,100 US dollars less in the car selling price, in the sale price. Now, of course, the very good news is the fact that we don't have to worry about Q1 and Q2 and even Q3 deliveries of next year. I mean, this is fantastic. You have to line up until July, August. You have to wait until then to get the car. But of course, that's also because of the subsidy, right? So NIO is taking a small hit to achieve this. Now, I know this sounds very complicated, but just to kind of sum it all up, NIO will take a sort of a 4% vehicle margin hit. So vehicle margin will decrease by about 4% in Q1, Q2, and even possibly Q3 of next year. And this is because they're subsidizing for the purchase tax. And the way to look at it, it's at least 4%, okay? At least 4%. So 8.85% tax, and then of course, the Chinese government is going to subsidize half of that if it's less than 15,000. So you can expect 4%, maybe a little bit more than 4% hit in margins. And this is of course Q1, Q2, Q3. So this definitely does not help with the profitability outlook of 2026. But I'm sure NIO's cars have that extra spare margin to give, okay? But that does lower the profitability outlook. So it is in NIO's total full incentive to get as many cars as they can out in 2025 to avoid having to subsidize for that tax increase. And the tax increase is quite substantial, all right? So, a lot of people do want to avoid that. I mean, why would you want to pay that extra amount, right? So they are confidently locking in the orders of the ESA, and this is incredible to see that the orders are lined up until July, August of next year. Absolutely insane. So many people are buying this car, and I'm sure the sales reps are also telling customers, you buy it now, you don't have to pay the taxes. You lock in your order now, right? So people they're doing it just to avoid the taxes. All right, that's kind of crazy. And I know you guys might say, "Oh, this is a production problem." The production is maximized to the maximum amount. Okay, they really can't produce more cars. So even though margins will decrease by 4% in Q1, Q2, Q3, celebrate the fact that the deliveries will be absolutely spectacular next year. So you can celebrate that early right now. Okay? As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.